What's up, party people? It finally happened. I finally made the playoffs in the first season of a Jags rebuild without getting fired. Why did it take so long? I think it took me 4 tries. We'll go over the first 3 seasons and then the fourth season of why I was getting fired and why I didn't get fired in a second. I couldn't be more excited. It was extremely frustrating. I don't know if any of you have had this experience or having trouble. I don't know what teams you're starting with, but I went with the Jags. They have the lowest rated team pretty much, and they have the lowest rated offense. Part of that is because Travis Hunter is listed as a corner, but still, the other team that is on par with them is the Giants. But I think the Giants have a much better defense. So I went with the Jags, and I was fired multiple times. And we'll talk about each time I was fired and then what finally got me over the hump. So let's jump into it. All right, so let's take a look at the first ever rebuild I tried to do in Madden 26. It was very early on in Madden, and I failed very, very hard with Mike Ock as the head coach. Fired. I think we only had 4 wins, and as you can see, you were fired. That was awful. It was an awful experience. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know anything about playbooks. Eventually, I got into using the Bengals halfway through the season. We were winless until that point, but only 4 wins, and lost the trust of everybody. As you can see, only got 594 yards out of Travis Etienne. So you definitely know I eventually got into the Bengals. I don't even remember what defense it was. I believe it was New England, I think it was. So Josh Allen's Hines had a really good season, and that was about it. That's about all that went well. So didn't know much. The coaches I went with was an offensive created coach. That also didn't help. He was an offensive guru, and I used Ortega as my offensive coordinator because he had the most, abilities and all that stuff, and none of that really helped enough. So, not knowing anything, I completely failed. So I thought I learned everything, and a couple days later, we tried Holden McGroin as our head coach, and we were fired. This time, we knew about the Rams, and we had um, Brian Thomas Jr. in the slot, and we were still fired. So let's take a look at this. We don't want to look at the schedule. Let's take a look at the standings, see where we finished this time. Did better. We went 6-11. I don't remember what defense we used, but I think we tried New England again, and from the start, and it wasn't working. And we eventually went somewhere else. Stats wise, take a look here at the Jags. Much better season, I believe. There you go. Trevor Lawrence, 3,700 yards passing, 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Travis Etienne had more rushing yards, only 876. And then Brian Thomas Jr. was one of the top wide receivers, 92 catches, 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns in the slot for the Rams. Travis Hunter had 819. And De'Ami Brown had not a great season either. So the Rams did not work for us, and we were ultimately fired. And I was also going as a coach. I was an offensive guru in this. And this time I put Ortega as our defensive coordinator, and I can't even remember who the hell our offensive coordinator was. So didn't work out in that one either. And the third try was Buster Cherry. Was fired for this. Now this one is I call bullshit on because I had a much better season in my opinion, and I should not have been fired. As you can see, I was. I can't remember. I think like my approval ratings were good for most things except for the fans, I believe. The standings on this one, we were 7-10. You should not be. We lost our last 3 too, so we were 7-7 going to the last 3 games, and we lost all 3. We did Green Bay's offense because I wanted to get more rushing yards. I think it was Green Bay, and I think it was New England. I think it was New England. I wish I could tell, but can't tell. So, and this time I was a defensive guru, and I used Ortega as the defensive coordinator, and that really didn't help. Stats wise, you know, a decent season from Trevor Lawrence, who also missed the first 2 games. So we started losing the first 2 games off the bat. I should have never used Mullins and Dugan, but they wanted them in the preseason, so I kept them. No, that was not a good idea. Travis Etienne did, improve on his rushing yards. Travis Hunter this time did very well. I think Diami Brown was the lone man in the slot. I wanted to keep him there. And it didn't help when I put Brian Thomas Jr. at the starting position and the slot at all. So, and sacks were down. I believe we lost Josh Allen to Hines for a couple games as well. We lost him for 5 games. So it was not a good rebuild. I went as a defensive guru, went as an offensive guru. But at this point, I had known what the good playbooks were, and I tried to get a balanced offense, see if that would help us using the Green Bay Packers, and it did not. So I was fired again, and I don't believe I should have been. In the real world, you would have never been fired for going 7-10 in your first year. But as you can hear, I got a slow sim going on the other PlayStation right now as I'm recording this. And then last, Harry Ascrack. Yes, he got us to the playoffs where we're currently sitting. And this time we knew all about playbooks. What were the best combinations? I actually gave this combination of playbook out to do I have it in my phone here? Give me 1 second. No, I don't have it. Anyway, this is my top combination of playbooks, and I think it's starting to become a theme. Like the Jags work very well with the LA Rams 3-4 under, but this is New England's defensive playbook and Atlanta's offensive playbook. Based 3-4 seems to be the top combination for these 2 playbooks. I'm starting to see a theme here that could be a thing. Who knows? Early in that guess there, but wait. Oh yeah, I'm dumb. That's right. I'm looking at the wrong paper. So it was Atlanta's offense and the Rams disguised 3-4. But New England and Atlanta's offense really good in base 3-4. But this is the Rams and Atlanta and disguised 3-4 and the West Coast for Atlanta. This is a great combination. It almost makes me feel like playbooks matter again. I don't know. Maybe it's the combination of playbooks. That could be a thing. That seems to be a thing. But here you go. We made the playoffs 11-6 from a team, the same team that was getting fired left and right. Let's go to Coach Central here. And I didn't do anything. So Harry Ascrack, he is a developmental wizard. I like it, and I'll show you why in a sec. We brought in Liam Cohn, just an offensive guru guy, and he didn't have many, abilities and play sheets to start with, but that percentage there of offense was pretty high. It wasn't 100%, but I think you want. I don't know what any of this really matters, but also Starks. I brought him in. I don't know. He's an offensive guru. I got him a defensive coordinator. I got no idea. He's getting fired, I guess, even though his defense did pretty good. So these are the guys I brought in. But I liked Harry Ascrack as a developmental coach. Tell me what you guys have used. Have you used somebody else? Have you found offensive wizards or gurus work better? Let me see if I can show you why I like him. So you get these couple things. Now in scouting, you get this. Like why else wouldn't you'd want this? It's active the whole season, which kind of takes up a spot. But you get to hire two tier 2 scouts. Like that's awesome. Why wouldn't you ever want that? It's like automatic. And then you also have player development. Like Trevor Lawrence was like a 76, 77 overall. I used this for the first 7 games. Actually, I think it was the first 4 because you had 3 preseason games, but had these all locked in. And yeah, it was a nice little boost. And it's nice to call on these whenever you need them. And then, just your regular abilities. So I had much better luck using the developmental coach and better playbooks. So I like having those 2 options there, throughout my rebuild, whether I win with them or not. And then the stats: Trevor Lawrence, 3rd in pass yards, 4,300, 42 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Etienne went over 1,000 yards, but only 5 passing touchdowns, or receiving touchdowns, or rushing touchdowns. I can't get it right. Now, Diami Brown, he did miss 3 games. He was in the slot for most of the season, and I waited until we lost 2 games in a row. And then BJ went in here, Brian Thomas Jr., he went into the slot and the starting position, and he just took off. He was behind Diami Brown. Diami Brown was our leading wide receiver, just solely in the slot. And then we put Brian Thomas Jr. there for the last 5 games or something like that. And of course, he would have had a monster season had he been there all year. But I just wanted to see what it was like, And then Travis Hunter, not the greatest season, but he also missed 2 games. So despite injuries and everything, we had the number 2 offense as far as yards go. It was a great year. 3rd in passing, 9th in points. Defense was better. It's not a great team, and it overperformed. So it was a 77 overall on offense when we started. Now it's an 81. Defense didn't grow too much, but it is what it is. I have a lot of older players there that aren't going to grow, and the younger players aren't that great. So there you go. Any questions? Let me know. Tell me what you've experienced in rebuilds. I'm sure you probably had better luck if you started with any other team that was better, but this was a challenge, and I'm glad I went through this. It's always better to fail and get better. It's like getting frustrated. Like, why am I so bad at this? It's totally different, But maybe it's not so different than past man. Just gotta find the way things work. But try it out. The Rams and Atlanta's offense, the sky's 3-4. If that doesn't work, try 3-4 storm for that Rams defense. I've also liked New England defense, base 3-4 with Green Bay's offense. Try that one. The Rams defense with Green Bay's offense, you can try that one. Any scheme but base 3-4. Of course, I've mentioned this before. Cincinnati with the LA Rams defense, 3-4 under. And Atlanta's offense with New England's defense, base 3-4 was really good. Actually, any of them except for 3-4 storm. So, there you go. We made it. Now we just gotta finish this puppy off and see how far we can go in the playoffs, and that's it. Update: we in fact did not win in the playoffs. We lost in the first round. The Steelers, tough defense. Even though we picked off Aaron Rodgers twice and we didn't turn the ball over once, we still lost. Steelers are a tough defense. But hey, it was a great season in year 1, and I'm happy to share what I've learned, and hopefully that helps and we can keep building on this. And that's it. Also, the next thing I'm working on is the top 4-3 quick sim defensive playbooks. That is what you voted on. Also, I've been slowly working on slow sim behind the scenes on my other PlayStation, but obviously it's slow sim. It takes so much more longer to do, so I will get that out to you as soon as possible. But that's it. Have a great day. Thank you for subscribing and liking. Also, I did just open up my community for posts and questions and comments and helping each other. This is a new feature for me, so I have no idea what it means. Please partake in that. But you have to be a subscriber for at least a week before you can do that. And there you go. We'll see you very soon for more Madden 26 content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Peace.